This is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with some Shardless Sultai. It's been a minute since I've revisited this particular list. Been focusing mainly on Modern lately on the stream with Burn and Prowess in particular, but this is a list that I've been working on a little bit in August and September, so it's been a minute since I picked it up. It was based on the old Shardless Bug decks, Shardless Sultai decks, now updated to include the unholy duo of Oko and Uro. Uses Gilded Goose as its mana dork to get to these plays potentially on turn 2. And then beyond that, you're just a good stuff deck built around the card Shardless Agent primarily, with a bunch of very powerful 0, 1, and 2 drops. Whether it be Ancestral Visions, draw 3 cards, Brainstorm doing brainstorm things, Thought Season Him to Torok to disrupt your opponent's hand, Tarmogoyfs and Coatls to recoup, put pressure on your opponent, recoup some card advantage, Abrupt Decays to answer any annoying things like Delvers, Dreadhorde Arcanists opposing Okos. 1 copy of Leovold, Emissary of Trust, is a very annoying card for some opponents to play against. And finally, 4 copies of Force of Will, because if you're playing blue, don't leave home without it. The mana base is heavily skewed towards blue and green, which does make Him to Torok a little bit awkward in some spots, especially in things where you don't lead off on a dual land or a Gilded Goose. So that is a card to note about. And that's pretty much what this deck is. It's a mid-range good stuff deck that's trying to recruit 2-for-1s, Ancestral Visions, Coatl, Him to Torok, all the 3 drops basically, except for Leovold in some cases. Basically a deck that's just trying to recoup 2-for-1s all over the place. Just kind of grind your other mid-range and Delver decks into the ground. A little bit weak to combo. We do just have a little bit of light disruption with Thought Seizes and Hymns as well as the Forces. Have a little bit more disruption in the sideboard and a little bit weak to basically graveyard decks because we don't have a ton to interact with them, especially Game 1. Sideboard, a little bit all over the place. As far as, speaking of graveyard decks, we have 2 9-health Spell Bombs and a Scavenging Ooze. Not exactly the most dedicated graveyard hate for things like Hogak and Dredge, but does give us a little bit of outs. 1 copy of Assassin's Trophy is another kind of catch-all in the same vein as Abrupt Decay, allows us to answer problematic lands, other permanents, planeswalkers, etc. 1 Carpet of Flowers, primarily for the Delver matchups and other control matchups. 1 copy of Veil of Summer, because it's a card your opponent needs to be able to respect. Collector Oof helps to Oof shuts down any type of artifacts your opponents might be playing, so anything from Arkham's Astrolabes to equipment to Lotus, Petals, and Lion's Eye Diamonds. 1 Sylvan Library for grindier matchups. Then we have our kind of anti-creature package, 2 Fatal Pushes, a Dead of Winter, and a couple copies of Plague Engineer. And then finally, a couple of cards that have served quite well. Back to Basics. A lot of people aren't expecting this style of effect out of a 3-color deck, so it can get some people, especially lands decks. The last league out, I think I played against 3 4-color Loam decks, so this card came in very handy. And then obviously Force of Negation when you need force effects against more combo-centric decks. So that said, let's jump into a couple to matches tonight, see how we get before I get too tired kind of here to keep going. Could play in the Mythic event, but I'm not going to be around for that tomorrow. So going to start a Legacy League and see how far we get. Haven't played anywhere near as much Legacy, so I'm not familiar with most of the big names other than people I see doing streaming content. Thanks, Ando. We'll see how it goes tonight. I'm kind of tired as it is, and Legacy isn't necessarily a format where you want to be going in tired. And I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight, especially when I'm still debating which one of War Dog's 2 donation deck lists to play. One of which is a Legacy deck, so I kind of want to touch base on Legacy again before I try to play somebody's donation deck in the format, and this is kind of the deck that I've been rocking the most. I think of all the decks that I've seen in Legacy or had the pleasure of playing so far, I like this one, the Turbo Muxus deck, and the Dimir Shadow deck the most. This one I just liked. I liked some parts of the Allurn combo deck that Foz has play, but I liked more of the fair parts than the like 4 or 5 card combo, or 3 card combo, whatever it was. Victorious Champion. Well, this hand's kind of what we want, right? So we're on the play here. This is probably going to have to get a swamp, so I'm going to have to probably lead on Tropical Island into Goose. And then we can always play Oko depending on what we see out of our opponent. Blue spells. Okay. Sure. So I guess we get the chance to Thoughtseize, or we can play Tarmogoyf. So that could represent a lot of different things. I guess I'm willing to play a Goyf here just to get pressure down in case we're up against another control deck. This is Delver. I'm going to be a little bit sad that they daze this. Especially when I have a Thoughtseize sitting in my hand. They're forcing it. Nice. I don't know what we're up against, honestly, is the thing. The heck is that? I have no idea. Never seen that one before. Well, it's now an elk. Welcome to Elk and Elk. I guess this plus a bolt means they can deal with it. Do you have any recognition of what we're up against, Ando? That's unfortunate. Let's use 2 Force of Will so far. Feels like a bad Delver deck. Fetch for at least one green source here. Awkward. Two mountains. Sorry, mountain and island. What's up, Bandit? How are you tonight? I did not. I've been working all weekend, so it's been a minute since I picked up this deck anyway, so am I supposed to elk the stupid Pyromancer, or am I supposed to make a food token? I feel like I'm supposed to elk the Pyromancer here. We are flooding pretty hard for a deck that doesn't have that many lands in it. Like, even a goose would be pretty nice here. Yeah, I'm fine mana wise, so I don't particularly care about that. Nice, nice. Yeah, Modern's my primary format. I only pick this deck up on occasion. Alright, looks like we really need to draw something here. Guess that qualifies as something. There's no reason not to do this now, right? Just get it out of the way. We'll see. This is a man who's meddling in forces beyond his norm here. Oko usually does, especially against opponents where you have no idea what they're playing. Is this Delverless Delver, basically? We've seen Ethereal Forager, Young Peasy, and Dreadhorde Arcanist, but no Delvers. Alright, so I'm going to look up Ethereal. I am not familiar with that card being in Legacy. Alright, so it looks like, is it Delver? We're up against Victorious Champion. Digivolve to Champion. So we're just going to presume that they're on Blue-Red Delver. And we just saw a weird variant of their. Probably interested in the pushes. Probably interested in Carpet and Veil. Library. Plague Engineers. Skews, maybe? Feels like we might have too many cards for this matchup, potentially. Could even bring in Ratchet or Nihil Spell Bombs. Probably go down the Forces. Then it becomes like awkward, right? Like Thoughtseize is a card we might not want in this matchup. But then we just have like a bunch of we don't need Trophy. We'll just go down Hymnotorok and play straight up. Shave an Ice Thing against a Delver deck? That doesn't seem right. This hand seems fine. A little bit awkward with our land base, but still think we keep. Opponent is digging hard here. What do they do with their Ponder? Chose not to shuffle. Okay. It's actually possible I wasn't supposed to bring in Veil of Summer. That's definitely a reason to jam Tarmogoyf here. Let's go ahead and brainstorm first here. Well, we definitely don't want the goose. And what other card do we not want here? Is it crazy to ditch the other brainstorm? I mean, their Arcanist gets to go... Well, I wanted to keep Decay just for the follow-up threat here. They do it. They chose not to shuffle. Curious what their follow-up is. True name to Miss Narset's annoying. It's actually a difficult question. Which one do we actually... Oh, never mind. I think I just Oko here and hope they don't have something. Possible I'm getting too greedy here. Yeah, but if they had a Daze or a Brainstorm, or a Daze or a Force, we were in some trouble there. So that was actually a thought process. Especially since this Dreadhorde Arcanist is like their primary way of like staying in this game. Did they brainstorm here or did they bolt? Looks like they're going to bolt the elk. Sure. Second Dreadhorde Arcanist is pretty rough. It's really kind of hard to say. Like, our opponent's like executing their game plan to perfection, and it still feels like this game is close to parity, depending on what's in their hand. Obviously, they have a Brainstorm to flash back if they want to. Please don't be another one. Oh, there's Narset. Just going to fetch the island now, or the forest now. This does give away some amount of information, but I don't want them... And they get to double Brainstorm here, so I think we're just going to get buried by Dreadhorde Arcanist here. Yeah. The fact that they have both that and Narset is just really freaking annoying. May actually have to bring some number of forces or Thoughtseizes back in. Nothing we can do about Pyro here. Let them brainstorm first before we play the Codal. I think that's going to be game unless we hit Dead of Winter here. Alright, Fatal Push certainly helps, but we have multiple things we need to kill here now. Yeah, they have Force. They used Force against us in both games so far. I pushed the wrong thing. I should have pushed the Arcanist. I meant to push the Arcanist, but I wasn't paying attention. Definitely going to want to bring in the spell bombs. Looks like they're going to have that stupid Delve creature again. They may not run Delver. Like, I don't think they're a Delver deck. I think they're literally just Arcanist, Pyro, and that goofy Forager. Do I continue playing on here? Like, what are the chances I can come back and win this game, honestly? Like, obviously I have two very powerful cards in my hand, but I really don't want them to see my deck. Nope that I shouldn't scoop, or nope that I should scoop. Because I really don't want them seeing my deck. I guess this game is still close enough, despite all of their ridiculous card advantage. I mean, I can, but we're going to be changing our configuration anyway, so... So we know they have multiple... I don't know if Spell... Yeah, I guess Spellbomb's the card we want. If they have Force here, we're pretty screwed. Oh, to its owner's hand, you say? We're just too far behind this game. It's quite the game. Don't actually honestly think Kotal's that good in this particular matchup. Because they're not going to suicide their... Definitely want the Dead of Winter, which I didn't have in. Just kind of dumb on my part. Trophy might be a necessary evil. Well, the problem is if we Elk the Arcanist, then they get a Force of Will or a Submerge back. And still have a 3/3 flyer. So we're still in some trouble. Alright, still like the Spell Bombs. Shave a Goose. Shave an Uru in the face of Surgical. This hand's a little slow, but I think it's fun. It is funny that I enjoy playing this deck in Legacy when I'm primarily a... Okay, I do have Delver, sure. Fatal Push, pretty good one there. I was going to push the Delver. Do I push the Delver here? I feel like I'm supposed to push the Delver. It's possible I'm supposed to hold that for an Arcanist. And if they Surgical the Uro after we cast it, it's kind of whatever. Another Delver. No responder. Opponent became tripping. Problem is, Plague Man doesn't particularly stop Arcanist, especially with bolts in their deck still. Question is, what am I supposed to cast here? Like, does their version... I mean, I could have, but then that opens us up to other things, I suppose. So, they play Daze, right? The variant we are playing does that. Yes, they do in fact play Daze. So we're just supposed to play Goyf and play around. This draws out a Force of Will. I'm going to be a very happy camper. Yeah, Uru would not have been a terrible choice either. Alright, Plague Man's going to get to have some fun here. Let's get a blue source. Also shuts down Pyro. They could still very well have Daze in their hand. Could be walking face first into a Pyroblast here. Yeah. You know, just play Uro for that reason. Though with these Uros, I have a feeling they're just going to get Surgical. Do I continue to play around Daze here? I think I have to, because I really don't think we're doing anything if this Tarmogoyf gets nailed. Especially if they have Surgical. There's a Delver. So what is in their hand? I don't know if I play Leovold or not. I'm really just tempted to Spell Bomb. Because our opponent could definitely have another Pyroblast in hand. And I'm still trying to play around Daze, so... They might have Submerge, too, so it's not like we're completely scot-free here. So we know we have an Uro on top. I'm not particularly interested in drawing that. So I am going to fetch here before we bomb them. Yeah, whatever. Freaking Submerge. fact had the Pyroblast. Gonna get their Pyroblast, so they don't have an easy way to answer. An easy way to answer Uro with Arcanist. I think I should have left that Carpet of Flowers in my hand. It's probably unlikely needed at this point. Okay, so they have Preordain. Should have brainstormed in response. That's a heck of a draw. Yep, we're going to lose. Should have brainstormed. Now they have Pyroblast in hand. Probably an Arcanist coming down. Yep. This combination is just so dumb. Wow, where were all these threats in some of the other games? Feels bad, but I think we have to do that. Why are you wastelanding me? It legit does nothing other than fuel my arrows. Maybe. We're still one bolt away from this being a hell of a game. Because if they bolt the Plague Engineer... Holy crap! Legacy, ladies and gentlemen! I'll be right back in 1 second. hold us. The feeling can hold us. Powerful magic. That was it was a hell of a game. That was a hell of a game. Okay, so we are up against Red Prison. So the only reason I know that is I actually follow Nathan, and I was watching his stream earlier, so he was on Red Prison earlier. This hand, obviously no lands, we can't keep it. This hand's pretty decent. Back the Codal? Yeah, it feels like we put back the Codal here. No, Decay we want for Trinisphere and Moon. Okay. Earth. I think we get the Goyf down here. Obviously it's not ideal, but with double force of will, I'm guessing I'm fine with it anyway. I forgot. Does he have a splash in his list, or is it just for Moon? Sure, whatever. Sure. Sure. I'm about to get Chandred. Sure. We're up against freaking Storm. Forcing that, because if they play Overmaster, then we're screwed. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Burning Wish with 1 mana floating. Past in Flames. Can't cast it this turn, so I'm not terribly worried about it. Yeah, I thought he was on Prison earlier. I guess I just saw red cards and presumed Red Prison. Sure. We have to force this, right? We has to draw another mana. Or they just have another mana, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, if the Decay was a blue card, indeed. Guess it's not going to end up mattering anyway. Not even a bluff that we have fourth force here. Okay. Sure, whatever. Yep. I still think Decay was the right play over playing Tarmogoyf. Probably going to get Tendrils here, I'd guess. Overmaster. So what does this pile play? Probably want Force of Negation. Probably want the Spell Bombs. Collector Oof. A little bit of a Nombo, but I think if we have Oof in play... They play much besides Lotus Petal? Or Lotus... Yeah, they showed us Petal too, didn't they? Or did they just show us LED? Playing Engine... Do they play, They play, Empty the Warrens, don't they? Yeah, Tendrils targets, but they could easily go Grape Shot if they suspect we have Veil of Summer. I mean, yeah, they have Tendrils, but they don't necessarily have to get Tendrils to kill us. They can always Grape Shot us. And it also comes down to a question of, like, what cards am I cutting? Like, I can cut some number of Abrupt Decays. Can probably cut a Goose. Can probably cut an Uro. Oko feels like it might be a bit slow, although it is a blue card, so I gotta keep that in mind. Visions is a bit slow, but I do think I want at least one. Cut a total. 5s, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we still have 20 plus blue cards, so I think we're good there. Could also bring in Scavenging Ooze, but I think that's a little slow for Graveyard Hate based. I think this hand can be a keep, but man, is it risky. Like, we could certainly do better, but we could certainly do worse. Better hit on the Brainstorm. Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Am I supposed to force this? This feels like a card I'm supposed to force. It's also possible that I was supposed to... Alright, we somewhat hit on the Brainstorm. I guess I should have played Collector Roof there instead of holding up Abrupt Decay. Gotten the pressure down at least. That was definitely a punt on my part. No, we're drawing a Leovold next turn, which basically doesn't do anything. So we did. Sort of. Sell the top 3 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play those cards. The spell is cast from graveyard. You may play the card without paying their converted mana costs. Dafugen? Pretty sure we're dead here. At least Lotus Petal is basically a dead draw. Do I Brainstorm or cast a Leovold? BS and pray. Yeah, could always play Leovold. That might... Yeah, that's the thing. If I hit another land, we're almost guaranteed to cast Leo. But I think I'm just supposed to cast Leo. Sure. Rite of Flame. Okay. 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 That doesn't draw a card, friend. Okay, there's another Burning Wish, so we're probably dead. Yep, Burning Wish for Tendrils. Ha! Ha! There's nothing we can draw off Leovold that would save us, so... Storm count is we dead. That's the storm count. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Once again, I don't normally play Legacy, but when I do, I bust out Shardless Sultai. Kind of a throwback to the old variants with Gilded Goose and Oko instead of Deathrite Shaman and Liliana. So, be on the play here. It was definitely a risky keep. I'm not gonna defend that. not gonna defend the keep. This hand, we have no idea what our opponent is on, so I think we keep it. Get on that so we can get a basic forest. We absolutely have to. Alright, another grind fest, yay. Kind of what I'm hoping to avoid, but... just on time, Gilded Goose, just on time. It's one of the risks of running Gilded Goose, obviously. Decisions here. Let's not give up our tertiary color yet. Opponent have an Oko. Yep, feels like Oko-san. We just get to Abrupt Decay their Thingamabobber. Problem is, with this being our only green source, we are in quite a bit of trouble locked with a bunch of green spells. Alright, looks like we're just up against 4-color Snoko. Sure. Ancestral Visions is a card. I'm supposed to main phase one of these just to try to hit another land drop. JK. Apparently I'm just going to draw all the Codals. It's a Codal off. That is a Jace. Perfect Brainstorm. So looks like they're every color but red. Maybe, Endo. I really don't know. The Misty fetched a forest, right? So that wouldn't have screwed me on colored sources. With the triple Astrolabe hand, sure. Maybe they won't have Path to Exile, or I guess another Codal doesn't particularly matter. Like, I'm not sure we'd be in this game even if I drew a second green source, but... The problem with Astrolabe in this deck is this deck, the way it's currently constructed, is so jammed full of things anyway. It's really actually hard to find room for additional things. Opponent gets to, like, see a bajillion cards this turn. They even activated their Jace yet? Nope. That was dumb. Didn't mean to skip my main phase there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I say I'm tired. I'm going to go ahead and scoop there. Perhaps our scoop was too early. Yeah, I'm definitely too tired to be playing right now. Trophy in, Sylvan Library in, Spell Bombs in, Collect a Roof is a maybe, Veil of Summer is a maybe, Force of Negation is a maybe. They have enough heavy hitters that I have to leave in Force of Will, even though I'm not happy about it. Especially with Jace, because I don't have any direct answers to it other than Assassin's Trophy. Tarmogoyf's okay, but not like great in this matchup, so I could see shaving one of those. Probably shave a Goose or two, because while it is nice... Why no rhinos? Because this is not Nick Fit. This is not Nick Fit or for Color Loam, unfortunately. Is Collector Roof even worth it against their stupid Astrolabes? Probably not. Oh, Crashing Footfalls. Ha! Because that you can't reliably set that up enough with Shardless Agent, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Even with Crashing Footfalls, I don't think we can set it up reliably enough. I'm going to shave at least one Force of Will here. As time is ticking down, maybe shave another Goose. Go with this. It's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought of it. I think the deck would need to be constructed a little bit differently. I probably definitely want the Force Shardless Agent if I were to go that route. I mean, I do think we keep this hand. It is obviously risky not being able to cast. Yeah, Visions is based off of... This is based off of the old Shardless Bug decks that would use Shardless Agent to get Ancestral Visions and such. So that was the premise of the deck. Now, whether that's the correct route to take it is an entirely different ballgame. Now, obviously, our Goyf's not going to be particularly big, but I do think we just jam. Well, hello there. Still got to play the Tarmogoyf here, Baby Goyf. Guess it'll be a 2-3 Goyf by the time we attack. But yeah, this is based off of the old Shardless bug decks that were around when Deathrite Shaman was a thing. The thought process was that Gilded Goose could replace Deathrite Shaman and its utility with Oko in particular. I think I just fetch a Swamp. Probably not going to actually take any game actions right here. Does 4-color run... Does 4-color run... Counterspell these days? Problem is, some of these stupid Snowco decks are... I'm playing against a Urion pile. I'm playing against 4-color Snowco control. Alright, Oz, sleep well. Well, Jace might be necessary anyway, but I don't feel like I'm supposed to jam Oko here. I feel like I'm supposed to make them make the first move. Thanks. This is probably going to be the last match for the night anyway. Just because. I wonder if our opponent's going to be mindful of something like Back to Basics the way we fetched. Like, I didn't think bringing it in was wise against a deck that's playing Arkham's Astrolabe, but there could be some games where a Back to Basics could get them. A little bit, at least. Alright, looks like they're following suit and doing the same thing. This is actually a matchup I wanted to see. Like, I think we're a dog in this type of matchup, but I did want to at least see the matchup before we did anything. Opponent trying to see if we just pass the turn or not. Holding up Assassin's Trophy, I didn't. Goodbye, Oko. He took Assassin's Trophy instead. So am I just supposed to jam Oko here? Or am I supposed to set up for a longer game with Uro? Obviously not swinging with Goy if I'm not willing to make that trade right now. Feels like they're holding up Veil with that particular exchange. I wonder if they left in Force of Will or some number of forces or not. Because otherwise this Ancestral Visions could really hurt them. Although, that said, they're still massively ahead on cards. How many lands is too many lands here? One, two, three, four. I have yet to play a land this turn. Back Uro and the Bayou. Have to get a blue source here. Start by spinning the wheel. Goose was not particularly what I wanted to see here, but c'est la vie. Well, that's going to be a hard one to beat. I should have cowaddled trying to find Force of Will there. They're going to have to bomb here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Burrow. Kind of annoying, but whatever. No other lands in their hand. Just both good and bad. It's currently coming up Millhouse. Don't think these guys are going to get there on their own, but we can at least try, right? So you get some... See if they make their dudes 3/3s. Nope, they just make another cat. Okay. Slimmer is not a terrible draw. So that's Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is a 6/7. Sure. Because why not? Put that in our hand in case we draw a Brainstorm. They draw Force of Will as well? Sure. Nice. I think the geese need to come out. We definitely want the carpo flowers in. Actually, no, I don't, because of Scavenging Ooze needs to come in. No. Like, don't get me wrong, Uro is a great card, but with them showing us Caracas plus Spellbomb, maybe it's not the best. Like, I'm fine with the first goose, but I don't think I want to draw a second one. Okay, hand's reasonably solid. Sure. Brew and 9-hole Spellbomb. Rest of their hands all lands. that's their draw for the turn. Sure. Kind of weird that they sequence things that way, but whatevs. Probably holding on to the Codal here. Back at least one of the lands, probably the Trop. Trop in the forest. Burrow's fine. Burrow does Uro things. Really didn't want to use an abrupt decay like that, but let's do this now so there's no shenanigans. Have to look for a Force of Will now. Not particularly happy about this. Go resolves, unfortunately. So the library also resolves. Unfortunately, I can't answer all of them with Assassin's Trophy. I put them in the wrong order because I'm a genius. Fortunately, our opponent's going to pull ahead on cards here. We were supposed to go Shardless Agent in the Sylvan Library and then pop. Shardless Agent, spin the wheel. Sure, ponder, get to shuffle. Just doesn't matter what we go after there. Ponder as well. So if I fetch here, if I fetch here, I get a 5. They remove the spell, I'm dead anyway, right? So I didn't have another forest to go get, so it was kind of irrelevant that I fetched any other anyway. So I just caused myself an extra point of damage that I didn't need to take. Gotcha. Because the other forest was in my hand. Sure. Game 3. But they've assembled. Why didn't they? Caracas there. Guess in the end it doesn't matter because all I have is lands. Guess I'm theoretically not quite dead yet, but we're getting there. So I know they're going to Uro here. They're not Uroing. Why wouldn't they Uro? Seems so bizarre. So if they had double Abrupt Decay, they could have killed me. Why didn't they? I guess they're playing around. Dirtle Fest, going to Dirtle Fest, Dirtle Fest. dum 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 dirtle fest, dirtle fest, dirtle fest. They're trying to get in their arena dailies. Well, that was insane. Our next turn was going to be absolutely kind of bonkers, too. Oh, wow. Oh, what a game, what a match. Alright, on that note, I'm going to wrap up the stream for tonight. That's enough, that's what, almost 2 hours spent on 3 matches. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Wardog, Oz, Gisterberts, Makobi, everything else that's been kind of hanging out, so. Wasn't even intending on streaming this long, but these games were kind of fun and insane. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of slip-ups on my part, but this deck's just kind of bonkers. I don't know if it's good, but it's funny. So, well, 1 hour was on that match, and almost 45 minutes on the Is It Delver match. So, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow night to finish up the last 2 matches in this league. Anyways, this has been John for MTG Nexus. If you're new to the stream, please consider giving us a follow. And if you like modern and legacy content, please consider checking out our YouTube page, where the link is down below. Peace.